Hello, hello, hello. Happy Friday. It's Josh Goldstein coming at you. Hope everybody is doing amazing. I know I am. There's no place I'd rather be right now than here with you, connecting with you. Our Rojas has joined us, Seti Shark, Famid, uh, Deepak. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm here to answer any questions on your mind, or at least try to. Justified is here. Chesamet, Soliman, welcome to you all. Chevon, good evening to you. We are on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I'm also live in our Facebook group. I'm on LinkedIn, X or Twitter or whatever they're calling it, and also YouTube. I am coming to you live from Los Angeles. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I love it when people put where they are. Sean, welcome. How's it possible to relocate from Canada to the U.S.? That's a great question. Everybody is great. So a lot of times people ask me, how do you get a green card if you're from Canada? And I guess my short answer to that is, well, you do it just the way you would get a green card if you're from anywhere else. It's the same thing as if you're from Mexico, Nigeria, England, UK, whatever you call it. Hello from California. I'm from California as well. So Canada is a separate country. Yes, but there is only one program that I know of that's different. Well, really two now that I think about it, that's different for Canadians. First, Canadians can visit the US without a visa, and they're also not part of the visa waiver program. So if you're from Canada, you can visit the US generally. And secondly, Canadians and Mexicans can take advantage of the NAFTA program. So there's a visa called a TN that you can get. Hello from Nigeria, Famidak. Let me know your question. I will answer any question that you have for free. Watching from Seattle, I just got my Washington State law license, so I'm excited about that. Jamaica, we got David here. I went on my honeymoon to Jamaica. I'm super excited. It's Good Friday. We closed our office, gave everybody the rest of the day off. We also gave everybody Monday off for Easter. I don't celebrate Easter, but my staff does, so that's great. And a lot of our staff we have people who are Muslim, Jewish, Christian, whatever your nationality. The OC is in the house. Somebody from California, Dubai. I love it. I love it. Somalia, Mahad Sanid. Let me know what we can do to help you. Waco SS66SS from Instagram. How can you get a consultation with me? Very easy. Gabby coming in. So if you want a consultation with me, in my bio, you can book a free case evaluation with our team. That's the way to get our help. How was my Jamaica trip? Well, it was many years ago when I got married. I went to the cliffs of Negril. We stayed in this little hut. No problem, man. No problem. It was amazing. Beautiful people, beautiful beaches. Love it. Love Jamaica. Just so relaxing. Just my whole body just relaxed. It was great. I'm going to go back to the question from Famida. She says, I have one question, but you never asked me the question. So you got to ask me. Living in France, I need to USA. How do I come to America? Well, how do you get to America? I had this question today. Someone contacted me from Iran and they said, hey, how do I want to go to America the fastest way possible. How do I go to America? And I said, well, what you tell me, like, are you married? Or you have a job? Like, well, what is it? And they were like, well, and you just tell me the fastest way. And I said, listen, friend, this is not the way it works. You have to tell me on what basis you're going to, it'd be like if I said, I want to make $1 million as fast as possible. And someone said, well, how are you going to do that? And you'd have to come up, you have a business, you're going to invest money. Like, well, what is it? So you need to come up with a strategy. And the basic ways to get a green card in the US are being selected for the DV lottery. Okay, we have a lottery, you can apply. Number two, family-based petition. You're married to a US citizen or permanent resident or asylee, or your mother applies for you, or your children apply for you, some kind of a family-based petition. Number three, investment. Number four, employer petition. You have an employer, they offer you a job, they petition for you. Those are the basic ways to get a green card. Another way to do it is through asylum. You come to the US, you apply for asylum. That works. Felipe Cervantes, would you answer my question? Yes, I would. Let me see if I can find it. Felipe Cervantes. Wonder, I can't find your question. Maybe you could post your question again, because I don't know what your question is. So Somalia PP3, I got 221G 3 months ago, 20 days ago, and they send my documents. They asked me IR1 visa. So if you are in 221G, administrative processing, or refuse, those all mean the same thing. How do you get your visa approved and unstuck? Well, there's two ways out. One way is to wait it out, right? After a few weeks or a few months, maybe your visa will be issued, and that would be amazing. Okay. Now, the other way to do that is to file a lawsuit, and this is what we specialize in. Waiting to get your delayed visa approved works for some people, but at some point, you keep waiting and waiting and waiting, and then you start feeling like the waiting's not working, and that the waiting is just leading to more waiting. And that's the part where people try to get their case approved. They contact their senators, they hire lawyers, they do all this stuff. Nothing seems to work. And then they come to us and we file lawsuits, and they get very happy when they get approved. Why, Gabriella Brown, why are I-601 waivers taking so long? Because immigration is awful, and they're incompetent, and their backlogs are taking forever. I just got a rose on TikTok from Jalo. Thank you so much. I don't know what this means. Does a misdemeanor affect my I-45 from Willie Miller? A misdemeanor could affect your case. You're going to have to disclose it and document it, right? You're going to have to provide a court certified copy of some paperwork from the case, and you're going to have to disclose it on the forms. Will it impact your ability to get approved? That depends. There are misdemeanors and there are misdemeanors. Jaywalking is a misdemeanor. So is marijuana possession. But jaywalking is not going to prevent you from getting your green card, and marijuana possession very well could. The immigration consequences are far more serious. Let's put it that way. How long does it take to hear back after submitting the RFE? Well, there's no real answer to that. That's sort of like saying how long is a piece of string. So let me know. Will they process the N-400 faster before the election? I've heard that. I think that's possible. I've been through a few elections. So yeah, the best way to get your N-400 processed is to file it. You know, go for it. Why are pardons taking so long? I've never gotten a pardon for anyone. I don't know how to do that, but it's a great way to help you get approved. How can I visit my girlfriend in the US? Apply for a visitor visa at the US consulate. Here's someone says, is it true if you've been here for 10 years, you can get your green card? No, that's not true. There is one particular type of immigration program that to become eligible, you have to be undocumented for 10 years, but it's only a defense to immigration. That's one of the biggest myths out there, is that if you're in the US for 10 years, you can get your green card. Borders are human constructions and shouldn't exist from Lokria. I agree with you on that. People should live wherever they are. Mexicans were in California long before the Americans were. And yeah, and before the Spanish got to Mexico, there were indigenous people there, Maya and others. Hudan Mohammed. Hi, Josh. Hello. Hello. Julia Salazar. Does visa overstay affect getting a green card through a spouse that's a citizen? If you're in the U.S., you can get a green card through marriage to a U.S. citizen if you overstayed your visa. But you should consider lawyering up and contacting us. Somalia PPL followed me. Thank you so much. I was crashed into by a person in pursuit. Might that qualify me for a U visa from Felipe? Yes, it's possible. Nelbel Centro, can you answer my question? Yes. Hudon from Ohio. Hudon, I want to help you get a green card. I want to help your family come here. I've been trying to reach you. Please, please, please let me help you. Mahad Sanid. Mahad Sanid. Hudon from Ohio. If you're listening, oh, that's somebody who I really want to help. I want to help everyone, to be honest. Sean Insane, answer me. H2B, can you explain? Can I explain what? Here's a question from Nicola. Hey, Josh, we got our K1. We're getting married soon. Congratulations. Tell me if we move from one state to another when we file for adjustment, can that affect the processing? Yes or no? Okay, that's a great question. Here's what you want to do. You want to move to where you want to be and then file for your green card. Don't file for your green card and then move. If you can avoid doing that, please do so because it could screw up your case. Immigration doesn't work well if you move around. So there's that. Let me know what other questions you have. I am here to answer them. I am not watching tennis right now. There's a big tennis match on from Miami, but I'm not watching that. I'm here answering your questions. That's what I'm doing. What about new immigrants? What about them? Lou says, why my court case has been pushed asylum 3 times now, and I have no current court date here for 10 years. My sympathy to you because applying for asylum in immigration court takes a really long time. Felipe Cervantes says, do you recommend anyone specific for a U visa? If not yourself, this is something we can help you with. So contact me, Felipe, using the link in my bio. Book a free case evaluation with our team, and we'll help you out with that. Someone asked for my email. It is joshua@jgoldlaw.com. I'm going to put it up if you're watching on Facebook. Facebook group, YouTube, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So I'll put that in there. Justified. Would you answer my question? Yes, I will try to do that if I can find your question. Can you talk about the RFE for the I-864? Yes. So if you get an RFE for your I-864, it means that you did something wrong. You forgot to include the right documentation. The form is kind of technical. And it's something you probably need a joint sponsor. That's what I usually tell. Bahamas, where someone's watching. I wish I were in the Bahamas right now. Here's V. Giovanni. May I ask, as a transgender immigrant with a pending asylum case, how you change your name, please? Not sure what you mean. How you change your name? I'm not sure what you mean by that. If you change your name legally, then you have a change of name certificate, and you can present that with your asylum application and say, hey, I changed my name from Josh to Janet or whatever it is. But by the way, I stand with transgender immigrants and gay, lesbian, queer immigrants. I like to represent people of all religions, sexual orientations, everything. I'm a very tolerant person. I stand with everybody. So that's how I'm an ally. Is a humanitarian visa allowed for Sudanese? I'm not sure exactly what you mean by humanitarian visa. Those are kind of hard to get, if I understand that correctly. Francisco Wang says, I got an approved EB1A, but waiting line is too long. Can I come to the US? Why is it long? I mean, if you have an approved EB1A case, why would that be? Check the visa bulletin. That's very impressive that you got approved. I'm looking at the visa bulletin right now, and let's see if it's current. For April 2021, EB1 is current for all countries. For Mexico and the Philippines, it's current. So I assume you're from China or India, where it's back a little bit. Can you talk about the processing time for a K1 visa? Yes, I could. So I would say a K1 visa, it's going to take about 6 to 9 months to get your K1 visa petition approved. Another six months or so to get your interview. So I think from start to finish, from application to visa, you're looking at about 18 months, maybe 14 to 20 months, something like that. Do you know anything about a virtual marriage license in Utah? Fulaman in America, do not do this. Do not get a virtual marriage license in Utah for immigration purposes. Do not do that. Okay? Do not do that. Either file for the K1 visa or get married in person where you're both there, but don't do that. Because in order to get approved, you have to consummate the marriage. I thought consummate meant something else, but for immigration purposes, it means that you have to physically be together. So if you have to physically be together, then what's the point of that virtual marriage license? What's the point? Why not just come together? The virtual marriage license from Utah is a great example of why shortcuts make long delay. Big fire breathing monster. Have you worked with a deaf client before? I love working with deaf clients. We've had tons of deaf clients, and we communicate best by email with everyone. So if you are okay communicating by email and you're deaf, then I would love to help you. And by the way, I really love helping the deaf community. So USCIS brings out translators, and it's great. It makes me proud. I love doing that work. As long as you're comfortable communicating by email, which is true for all clients, by the way. Here is Ahmed Abraham, says he hired me for a visa delay. Sakile is handling the case. Sakile is awesome. But one thing is, I don't like talking about individual people's cases on here because I like to keep things very confidential. So if you have questions, email us. If you're a client of our firm, we're not open on Monday. Okay. So just telling you this. Is it advisable to move my case out of New York? This is from Aktung. I don't know. Tell me more. Why do you want to move the case out of New York? What kind of case is it? Tell me why you would leave New York. Sometimes that's a good strategy. V, who's transgender, said, I went to biometrics and on the form, the lady told me to put female impersonator as opposed to female. Is that bad? I was kind of upset. I had surgery. I wouldn't take it personally, but make sure that the person giving you this advice is a lawyer who's experienced with asylum and transgender issues. I would need to research that more, but female impersonator is kind of I think that's a little bit insulting. I think female is better. And then you can tell your story about how you're transgender. And you're probably from a country where transgender is not you would face persecution. And if so, you have a pretty good asylum case, in my opinion. You may have a really good one. I hope you win. You deserve it. What's the dumbest lawsuit you've ever heard of? I wouldn't say dumb, but I think a lot of these lawsuits, the worst lawsuit that I've heard of is called you can Google this. It's called the Streisand effect. And here's the way it works. Barbara Streisand, someone was putting drones or airplanes over her house and taking pictures of it. And she didn't like it. She thought it was an invasion of privacy. So she filed a lawsuit against the person who posted the photos. And in response to the photos, more people viewed her house. So it attracted attention and the lawsuit backfired. That's an example of the Streisand effect. Let's see here. My hero is joined us, Armando Auto Detailing LLC, aka Rocky. V Giovanni says she wasn't a lawyer. She was a USCIS employee taking my biometrics, and she said the manager said to put that. I wouldn't take advice from USCIS employee. I don't know. I can't give you advice on what to do, but I'm not sure. What other questions do you have, people? What do I think of immigration assistance providers? What is an immigration assistance provider? I mean, I guess my opinion, this sounds very self-serving, but my opinion is that immigration is an extremely important matter. It has a huge impact on your life and your family and so on. So why would you hire somebody who's not a real lawyer? I mean, obviously it's cheaper, right? But this has such an impact on your life. Now, there are cases that you can probably file without a lawyer. If you have an extremely straightforward naturalization case, you've been a green card holder for 5 years and so on, yeah, you could do it. Ricardo Samperi, Haitian deported, got approved. Yes, Ahmed, I'm sorry. We closed early today and we're also closed on Monday. So bear with us. We wanted to give everyone a holiday off. Goon says I'm not answering, so I apologize. Now I'm going to go back and look. Okay. Here we go from Goon. I've been waiting for my interview for the past 5 years. What should I do now? Please, please, please. Easy. You should contact us and book a free case evaluation with our team using the link in my bio, and we should see if we can help you because we probably can. Preaching Vessel. How do I notify USCIS that I'm a U.S. citizen in order to update my I-130 petition for my husband? Call the 800 number and send an email with a copy of your certificate of naturalization to the address on where you got your receipt notice. Is it possible to get a second interview for removal of conditions, and how long is that taking? This is from Abukar Usman. Second interviews are unusual for almost all types of immigration cases, and it's a sign. It's not a great sign, and I highly recommend that you lawyer up. Get a great lawyer. If you want, we can help you, but I would not try to go to the interview on your own, especially if it's a second interview, especially. Okay, Justified said, talk about petitioner for the RFE I-864 if a joint sponsor was added to the initial application. Well, if you used a joint sponsor and you still got an RFE, something has gone wrong. Either it wasn't documented properly, or the person doesn't have enough income, or the form wasn't completed correctly. Something went wrong. How long does it take for EAD renewal with receipt notice? I'd say within several weeks. Megan says, do you have to be a citizen to buy a house? No. But buying a house can have immigration consequences. For example, if you're here as a visitor and you buy a house, it might prevent you from being able to visit again because they'll think, oh, well, you have intentions of immigrating. Let's see. Someone says, I like America. I like America too. That's great. I should like America because I help people immigrate here. But I'm not a rah-rah patriotism guy who feels like America is a better place than anywhere else. I just happen to believe that everyone should be able to live where they want to live. Here's Luna. Is it possible? This is a good one. Luna, are you listening, Luna? Can you put in the comments below and let me know if you're listening? So before I answer your question, let me know. I just want to make sure because I think this is a good question. She says, is it possible to remove conditions and get permanent residency by myself if I get a divorce? And the answer is yes. And I want to talk about that. So if you get a green card through marriage, your marriage green card will only be good for 2 years in most cases. That is because most people who get approved have been married for less than 2 years at the time of approval. So what does this mean? That means that at the end of the 2 years, you have to file an application called an I-751 to remove the conditions on residency. A lot of times people call this renewing the green card, but it's a little more involved in that. And what happens if you get a divorce during that time period? As Luna is talking about, can you do that? You can keep your green card and you can remove the conditions, but you have to show two things. Number one, you have to show that you're divorced. Not that you have filed for divorce or that you've separated or that you intend to get a divorce. But you have to show that your divorce is complete. So you have to file for divorce and make sure it gets prosecuted and completed. And that takes time. The second thing that you need to do is you need to, and this is the hard part, you need to prove that even though your marriage did not work out, even though that you got a divorce, you have to prove that your marriage was entered into for good faith reasons, that it wasn't solely done for a divorce, for a green card. Can an American citizen help her sister obtain a green card? Yes. If you're a US citizen, you can petition for a green card for your sister. The problem is that it takes a hell of a long time. It takes a really, really long time. How long is a long time? I call it the retirement visa because you can retire in the US if you do that, and it's going to really take a long time. Fire breathing monster. I felt my case was refused due to disability. My fiance is deaf and I'm mute. The embassy doesn't think we're able to communicate, but we use American Sign Language. Well, if your visa, I guess there's two things that I would say. One is refused means that your case is pending, but if it was actually refused because they didn't believe that your marriage relationship was genuine, then I don't think that you documented your case well. You could have included written statements from the two of you explaining that one of you is deaf and one of you is mute, and you communicate through, those are the means of communication, and you can do it in other ways. John says, what do you think about Trump mass deportation of immigrants crossing the border? This is what I think about that. If Trump wins the election, and I think that he might, our country is in great danger. We are so screwed. think about the horrible injustices that were created when people, were separated from their families. So I hope that he loses. Najim says, hello, Josh. I really appreciate you and your team helping me with my parents' case. Now I have my parents here, and I cannot express my feelings of how I am. Thank you so much. I'm going to put this on the screen here. That really makes me happy. It's been a long week. I've had a lot of difficulties, personally, professionally. It's been tough, and it's so wonderful to hear that. So thank you so much. Every time I go live and I'm with my friends on TikTok and YouTube and all these other places, it's like a real shot in the arm. I feel like I've had some caffeine or something, because it really inspires me to do my best work. And I want to thank you all for giving me a chance to help. Here's someone who says, is USCIS waiving the marriage-based green card interviews in 2024? In some cases, but we have a lot of them coming up. So fire-breathing monster, if you are in 221G, and you're waiting for an answer, we can do a lawsuit to help you get an answer. We can help you get approved. Contact us and book a free case evaluation with our team, or we can communicate by email if that's easier. If someone comes here illegally and has been here for 30 years, can they still get a green card? The answer is yes, but you have to find a plan. If you came here illegally and you've been here for 30 years, you still have to come up with a plan. In I-601A, that's one way to do it. Parole in place. If you have a military family member, that's another way. There's something called registry, which is a more exotic form of immigration relief that most people don't know about. Here's Yisi Martinez. My sister has a tourist visa and I'm a U.S. citizen. If I petition for her, would it take less time? It's going to take a really long time. And if she's out of status in the U.S., she wouldn't necessarily be able to get a green card. So that's a tough one. Alex says, a Palestinian from the West Bank overstayed his visa. What's the best plan for him? Well, if he's married to a U.S. citizen, that would help. That would be a way to do it. Another way could possibly be to file for asylum. That's another possibility. So hang on one second. There is something called, okay. So Alex, are you listening? You're the one who asked the question about the Palestinian. He overstayed since 2015. Okay. There is something I want you, Alex, if you're listening, Google this. Google deferred enforced departure, USCIS. And there is a program that President Biden came out with on February 14th. That is a program to benefit Palestinians. So look into that. I myself am Jewish, and I have a lot of Palestinian clients, and I've been reaching out to them, seeing how they're doing, if their families are okay, seeing if there's a way that we can help. There's a brutal war between Israel and Hamas and the Palestinians, and it gets people upset, but we're all brothers and sisters, and I'm here to help everyone, Jewish, Muslim, Israeli, whoever you are, wherever you're from. That's how I feel. Can I adjust my status? Says Simply Ally. Can I adjust my status with 212B5 parole, or do I need military parole? How can I answer that? I don't know anything about your situation, so I need more information. I love parole in place. I love parole in place. Unforgettable Ren. Why are you not reading my question? This person has Jamaican flag, and she's mad at me. So I got to find her question. I'm looking on my phone. I'm trying to find it. Forgive me. I can't find your question. Alex says, deferred U.S. departure? No, deferred. DEFERRED. Deferred enforced departure. USCIS. In fact, Alex, I'm going to make a video on TikTok about this issue, and I'm going to post it because it's a great question, and there may be a lot of Palestinian people out there who don't know about this. I'm assuming if you're Palestinian and you're in the U.S., you would know about this, but I guess my assumption is wrong. But it would be great if there are people who are Palestinian and they're here and they don't have status, that they can find a way to forget it. How is the Islamabad embassy doing? They're doing terrible. They're not doing a damn thing. Unforgettable. Here we go. Unforgettable Ren. Can a mother with a green card get a visiting visa for her minor children in Jamaica? Okay, so we have a mother who has a green card. Her minor children are in Jamaica. So the minor children want to visit. They could apply for visitor visas, but I wonder why they wouldn't want to get green cards. Has the mother applied for them? I guess I'd kind of want to know a little more about that. Najim says, can you give some more information about the family reunification program? That would be really helpful. I'm not sure what you mean by family reunification program. So 10 years pending asylum in America with a child apply for a green card. This is Abdullah Salim. I'm not sure what you mean. Let me talk through this. Are you saying you have asylum and you applied for a green card and the green card application has been pending for 10 years? Or did you say that you applied for asylum and you've been waiting for a decision on your asylum case for 10 years? And we have one user who says they got an I-212 approved. What's next? You should be able to get your visa or green card. And if not, we can help you. Is it possible to deport immigrants on court hearing? Let's see, hearing process before the court appointment. John said that. I'll tell you what does happen. Sometimes people who have cases in immigration court, we don't handle cases in immigration court. We don't do deportation defense. But sometimes people will accidentally miss their hearing. And then if you miss your hearing, you get deported in absentia. And then there's a deportation order against you, but you don't know about it. So that happens. And then people go somewhere and they end up getting deported. And that's a bad thing. Ali says, what if I lose my asylum appeal? If you lose your asylum appeal, you're not going to get approved for asylum, right? Make sure you change your address the right way. It's not so easy, but yeah. Do I help with visitor visas? So here's what we do help with. If you apply for a visitor visa and your application for a visitor visa has been delayed, then we help with that. Fire Breathing Monster says, my fiance is from Tunisia. Do you have other Tunisian clients? I do. We have clients from Tunisia, from Tunis, Morocco, Algeria, Libya, Mauritania, everywhere. I love everyone, every country. Ohio, Nebraska, Minnesota. Aziza, Please answer my question. My I-751 and N-400 are pending for 8 years. That's ridiculous. That's outrageous. Um, we can help you. Ahmed says, is Shahira Khan your team member, Pakistani American? Um, I don't know her nationality. I can't ask questions like that. Let's see here. Let's see. I was told it takes years for asylum interviews. How can I expedite it? It's very difficult. If someone has an asylum application that's been pending for many years, we can file a lawsuit to challenge the delay. But it has to be pending for several years. Let me know what questions you have. Lil Malo, I have a question. I was brought to the States by my parents when I was 1 year old and I'm illegal and I'm 26. Could I qualify for a green card? This is from Lil Malo. Are you listening, Lil? So Lil, do you have DACA? So DACA, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrival, DACA was specifically made for you, DACA. So if you have DACA, that would be helpful. And if you have DACA and then you travel with advanced parole, then you could get a green card through marriage to a U.S. citizen. There's other ways to do it, but I'm just throwing out that one idea. Here's Renee. She says she's Italian. I want to come and stay in the States and work. How do I do it? I'm American and I want to live in Italy and work. So maybe we could trade passports for a little while. I don't know if my family would agree to that, but the coffee is much better. Kate, please answer me. Kate, what kind of flag is that in your I'm going to find your question, Kate. I can't find Kate's question. I'm sad about that. Kate, here we go. Can I file a form for my daughter to legally stay in the country for a year if it's a green card holder? So, if you have a green card and your daughter is here, it's not so easy to get your daughter a green card if she's in the US, if she falls out of status and the cases are not current. So that's a little tougher, I have to say. Ivy, is USCIS processing citizenship application faster due to the election? I applied and I'm nervous. There is anecdotal evidence from my experience that they do process applications faster before the election. So I hope that's the case. So Lil Malo, do you have DACA? Okay. Can you confirm that? If you have DACA, then I would ask you, my next question would be, can you get advanced parole, apply for advanced parole and travel and go on vacation and come back? If you can do that, then you could get a green card through marriage to a U.S. citizen. That's possible. Let me know. Let me know, friends. All right. Now I am switching. Let me just see. I just switched something on TikTok to subscriber only live. So I'm gonna see if that does anything. Hope everybody is doing amazing. And this is going to be a way for me to answer more questions. Carrie says, meeting my partner for the first time in October. If we marry at our first meeting, will that cause problems? Will we have to marry within 2 weeks? If we enter as tourists, is K1 better? You're meeting for the first time in the US. That is a little bit tricky. Why don't you meet outside the US? Why don't you try that? I would say that. Consider that one. That might be interesting. Here is someone on Instagram says some lawyers says it takes more than 3 years. I'm going to try to find the first part of that statement. Here we go. How long does it take to bring my wife to the US? I'm an American citizen and she's Jordanian. Is it 18 months or more? I'd say 18 months is fair. I mean, that's realistic. Carrie said, I'm in the US, he's in Africa, plan to go there. Okay. So, Carrie, here's what I want to tell you. You have to show that your relationship is genuine. And if you show up and marry him, you can still get the case approved, but you have to show that it's a real, genuine relationship. So I think that would involve proving that you spend time together with him or her, that you've traveled, that you've been together, that you've spent time together. Try to go back again and visit again. I know it's hard to go to Africa, but those are some ideas. Someone just purchased an auto renewal subscription. That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. Cassandra, is there any way a person who overstayed their visa to get a green card other than marriage? Yes and no. There are some other ways, but they may not apply. For example, if you came into the US and you overstayed your visa and you're being deported, and you then are faced with the possibility of being deported as a defense, you could get a green card in immigration court, but that's hard. Also, if you're a minor and you overstay your visa and your parent is a US citizen, that could be a possibility. But employment-based immigration is out of the question unless you have 245I, which is something. So there's some other ways to do it, but if I went through all the options, a lot of them don't apply, unfortunately.